Growing up, I was a pretty energetic, curious kid, and I was lucky to be involved in a lot of activities before I can really remember. And on vacations, I would always ask to sit in the cockpit with the pilot, and I would be really interested and in awe of how planes work. And over the years, I've been doing piano and tennis training, and although they're very different, they both taught me how to learn and have patience with the process. The frequent visits that I took during the summer months to the Ontario Science Centre, and I just really loved like the endless rooms filled with puzzles and hands-on activities. I found that to be a very motivating way to get me interested in science. But my grandfather he introduced me a lot to the background of science, specifically chemistry. Again, during the summer month, we would go over a lot of concepts and we would do a lot of experiments together. And all that really got me into the world of science, and I really love it. So my research focuses on the balance of skin toxicity compared to the effectiveness of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. And that becomes a very relevant issue, especially during the pandemic, since hand sanitizers were never really intended for use at this level. And I'm looking at alternative types of hand sanitizers, which make use of natural substances like tea tree oil and turmeric powder, instead of alcohols, which are found to be damaging to the skin. Through my research, I first had to determine whether or not the efficacy was comparable between natural substances and alcohol-based hand sanitizers. And using something called the Corby-Bauer method and the zone of inhibition test, I was able to determine that there was an actual signal for bacterial killing in natural substances, just as much so, or in some cases more so, than there was in alcohol-based hand sanitizers. And an example of that is tea tree oil and lemon juice in my experiment were found to have a higher zone of inhibition, or in other words, a higher signal for bacterial killing than ethanol. And ethanol is actually the main ingredient in Purell, which is probably worldwide one of the most used hand sanitizers. This was actually my first year doing the regional science fair, and I didn't really know what to expect, but after registration, we were allocated a project workspace onto our account, and that was used to create a virtual project board, which was used for the judging. And the projects were all submitted completely online, and it was kind of challenging at times, but the tech support was really good, and we got through it. But when I did the actual judging, I was able to reference certain points or certain slides for my project board. So the judges would be able to go there and they would be able to, as I was presenting and talking about my topic, they were able to go there and kind of give themselves a deeper understanding of the project. At the regional fair, I was blessed with the honor to have the Promising Young Biologist Award, which was presented by Amino Labs. And that was a huge honor. I won best in my category and I won the gold medal. The gold medal was basically qualification to get to the Canada-wide science fair. But I believe for the Amino Labs category, it was a special award, and the other one was a best in your category. So my category was health and wellness, and at the York Science Fair, I won that. As far as the Canada-wide science fair went, I won bronze. I would say no question is a bad question, and you shouldn't really be afraid to share your voice with other people, because even though you may not think your idea would be accepted, there's millions of people across Canada, there's billions worldwide, so you're bound to have a different opinion than just your own. So sharing your idea and sharing your voice can't ever be a completely bad thing.